Hi, and welcome to the Campbell Corner. I'm Regina Campbell, and I'm your host and the principal attorney here at the Campbell Law Group. I want to thank everyone for joining us. This is episode 2 of season 1, and I have the absolute pleasure of presenting to you and having come visit us today, Hollywood actor. I'm told to call you actor, not actress. Assistant director, producer, entrepreneur, and activist Cindy Luna. Cindy,
wow,
welcome.
Thank you for that introduction.
Yeah.
No, expectations are super high now.
No pressure.
No pressure at all. Yeah.
So I want to ask you, I saw your resume, it's very impressive. I checked out the IMDb, and it looks like some of your work includes The Last Ship, Once Upon a Time.
Yeah.
Still
One of my favorites.
Yeah, there we go. We got that answer done. Still the King.
Yeah.
Castle. NCIS, right? And a whole bunch more.
Yes.
You've been really busy.
I have. I feel like the past 5 years have been nonstop before pandemic. And every show has had its own flavor, its own lessons, growth, and opportunities that have led to other opportunities. So I just feel really blessed and excited for what's to come next.
Very, very important. And it must be exciting to play different roles, right? So you get to bring out different aspects of your abilities as an actor and also jump into those roles, I assume. That must be really interesting.
It's really interesting. And I think as you grow as well, you know this as a woman, the opportunity to play these roles in different ways. And for example, I started with, in Hollywood, I started with a role that was just a younger girl. The daughter of a drug dealer, and so that was like my first role. That was for gang related for Fox, and she was young and she was tough. And then as I started growing, it's interesting. You start getting cast for different roles that are much more mature. And the latest one was a detective. So that one was, I think, where I was like the most mature and ready to take on a role like that.
Interesting. Yeah. I love that. I love the fact that you showed, like, you can explain how the maturity and the growth, but as a woman and as an actress, grows with time and you learn. And it must be really interesting to also be on the other side of the camera, I assume, also.
Absolutely. I just assisted directed for a sitcom. And it was really cool. Comedy is something that I love. I have a lot of respect for it. You know, it takes a lot of work. I think it takes a very brilliant actor to do. So I have a lot of respect for it. But being behind the scenes and able to see everything happening and how it came together right before you, it's kind of like a modern family for Latinos.
Yeah.
And in English, like a Chicano family. So it was really cool to do. And being behind the camera was amazing because I got to implement everything that I've learned and bring it to the actor in a simple way, right? So just because, and I was thinking about this morning, just because I had to learn all of this and it took me so long to figure it out and learn, that doesn't mean that I'm not gonna give it to an actor that's starting out in front of me in a simple way. I think that
helped him.
That helped a lot for me to direct that way.
Sounds like that would have been helpful for you when you first started, right? If someone would have explained it in that manner.
Yes, 100. But for some reason, and I had that kind of people. I had a director that did that for me, and she really shifted my way of thinking and my way of performing. But I feel like a lot of people have that thing, like, if I went through it, you have to go through it. Like, I paid the dues, you gotta pay the dues. And that's not, I don't see it that way, especially with women. I think that we should support each other. I had a lot of women in this experience as assistant directing, and I just wanted to give them, if I could just give you a shortcut, I would, and I tried, and I think we accomplished a lot of what we needed for the show.
And that's important. It's a win-win. Win for on the director's side because you're adding value, and then win for the actors that they grow into their role and they do a better job, and it's a better sitcom overall. Sounds amazing.
I love that, adding value.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think it's so important to add value in anything that you do, whether it's in your career or in your personal life. So I'm really glad to hear you say that. It's awesome. I love that. Yeah. Absolutely exciting. So I wanted to also ask you, I think we already talked about it, basically what's your favorite aspect of directing,
Yeah, that. And when you were just saying that, Denzel Washington says that we're in the business of service. Actors, directors, producers, writers, and lawyers, and when we recognize we have a gift and we use it to serve others, I think it changes our whole perspective. And every day is like, wait, I'm not doing this for me. I'm not doing this to feed my ego. I'm doing this to serve others. And it changes everything. So every time I would walk into set, first of all, it felt so good to not have to have makeup on. And, I was just like relaxed. And this is just really me. There's nothing else. Like all I have to offer right now, it's me. It's my talent, it's the knowledge, and it's what I've learned in my experience. It was really interesting because I wasn't in front of the camera playing a character with the hair, with the makeup, with the clothes. It was just raw me, no makeup, casual, and saying, okay, this is what I have to offer you, and I want to serve you. And if I have to pick up a bottle, and if I have to help you guys clean up so that we move faster, whatever it is, it's for the good of the project, and it has absolutely nothing to do with me, but it's like a teamwork, and I want to serve you, and I want you to look good, and I want you to look good, and I want to help here. So it was really, really cool to do. I love that. As an actor, you're in front of the camera and you're doing your work and you stay in your lane.
And as a character too.
And stay in character. That too. That's a very good point, because when you have to stay in character, there's not a lot of socializing you can do, because you're like, okay, you're worried about having to cry in the next scene, and you have like all these things going on in your mind. But when you're directing, you're so involved with everyone.
You're seeing the big picture, I assume.
Yes.
Yes,
that's exactly it.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd be good at it, but it sounds like fun.
I think you do a little bit of that too in your work.
Well, you do actually. In the courtroom, there is some. I actually had someone say that to me one time, and I was kind of like, Someone said to me, they asked me to do like a little skit for them. They were directing a small thing, and they were an amateur sort of film director, and they needed a lawyer. And I said, well, I'll be more than glad to help you, but I've never done acting. And she smiled at me. She goes, yes, you have. You're a lawyer. And I was like,
Yes.
So,
yes.
Later we'll speak about it. Maybe she had a bad experience with a lawyer, but I was like, well,
I believe we all do a little bit of acting every day in our lives. Because that's the thing. When we start a scene, when I look at a scene, I'm like, okay, what is the objective of this scene? And what do I want? And what do I have to do to get it? We do that in our daily lives.
Absolutely.
You do that in the courtroom when you're closing statements and all of that. Every time I see in a movie or a show, I'm like, this is the closing statement. This is going to be the best part of the scene. And the lawyer's like, my client, and it's like, it's not acting as in like you're pretending, but you're really.
I'm advocating, and I am saying, I'm telling you a story. This is this story of this case. This is the story of what my client has done, what they haven't done. They're not being accused of this. Let me remind you of the evidence. Let me remind you of what we've heard today. It's my last chance to reach a jury or a judge in most cases for a trial or a final hearing. So let me hit home on this. So you're right, in that respect we are, because we are directing like an opening, a direct, a cross, a closing, and it's all about preparation of how you're going to present this evidence, and advocating for your client. I always try to bring out my clients' personalities if I can, so that people can connect with them. This is a human being. This is what they've been through. They're a business owner. They struggle every night. They don't sleep at night trying to work hard. This is what's going on. This is why maybe this mistake might have been made, but this was not intentional. And I bring out the humanity if I can. So, there is some of that.
And that's amazing that you do that, because that connects you to the person in a whole different level. Because we've all made mistakes. We are all flawed in our own ways. And you trying to say, like, we're talking about a human being here that maybe deserves a second chance, or maybe didn't actually do this, or deserves an opportunity to have this, and that's amazing.
Yes. And a lot of times it helps people connect to really what happened. It's assumed automatically acrimonious and everyone's evil and they did this bad. You'll be surprised how many times juries, judges, opposing counsel, opposing parties, they misunderstood cues and motives or discussions. They presume so many things. So when you bring out the personality in somebody, or what's going on in that person, the way they thought, and just show them the humanity they have, a lot of times that actually helps resolve cases. because they'll see, oh, maybe she didn't do it. Maybe she wasn't not tan mala. She's not that bad. She didn't do it like 'cause she's evil. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it helps.
Yeah.
It does help. And it's you're absolutely right. I guess I am directing in some ways.
Yes, you are, and
Yeah.
I admire what you do so much. You're constantly advocating and serving people, and that's amazing.
It is, and it can be hard because some people I say I'm not always trying to just protect you from the other side. I'm actually sometimes protecting you from yourself, and some people don't some people don't want to be told, no, that wasn't right, you know.
Yeah.
But it is. It's I enjoy it. I've always been passionate about being a lawyer. It's not easy, but it's nothing that's worth it is easy.
I was about to say that because a lot of people are like, "Why did you pick that career?
Yeah,
it's so difficult." And I'm like, well, first of all, I did not pick it. I feel like it picked me. And second of all, I don't think I'd want to live my life just comfortable all the time. There's got to be a challenge. And if it comes too easy, I question it.
Yes.
Usually I question the things that are too easy.
Yeah.
And it tastes so much better when you know you've worked hard for it, when you know it cost you something, it was sacrifice. I was listening to my friend yesterday talking about how if you go to if you see a lot of food on a table, and we name things like joy, happiness, luxury, this, but then you have a plate of sacrifice, a banquet, and you have a plate of sacrifice. No one's gonna pick that plate. No one's gonna pick it. No one's gonna pick the plate of sacrifice. But in reality,
so when you should pick first.
Yes, because that brings so much growth. It really humbles you. It really, what you do is to connect with the person to see their humanity. If you had never been through sacrifice, if you had never been through challenges in life, how can you see that in a person? How can you have the compassion to connect to the humanity of that person and helping others see it as well, to determine their destiny? Because what you're doing in court is you're determining the person's destiny. That can change their lives forever, you know?
It really can. It really can.
Yeah.
So I love this. I love this conversation. I'm so excited about all this. I hope everyone's enjoying this. So, speaking of sacrifice and difficulty, it seems like you also, you're Colombiana, right?
Yes.
Okay.
My parents are Colombian. I was born in Miami, then we started going back and forth, and now I'm in LA actually, but my mom's here in Miami, and my dad's in Colombia still.
Okay. Okay, nice. I love it because we were talking about sacrifice and giving back. And it's my understanding you have a Colombian line of jewelry called, With Love by Cindy.
Yes.
And tell me a little bit about it.
That recently started because it happened because of the pandemic. And I wanted to create something that I could help women around the world that could bring them business, and also as well to help end human trafficking. I met two women that have really changed my perspective and actually life. One of my pastors, Sharon Nye, she has an organization called Justice Speaks, and I met Rosie Orozco. She was a congresswoman in Mexico, and she has an organization as well, and she rescues children from sex trafficking and puts them in a shelter, but it's actually not just a shelter, but it's also restoration. So they'll have them until they're 18. And it's amazing the work that they're doing. And it brought so much awareness because I didn't know this was actually happening.
Yeah.
I heard it, and I heard it, and I heard about sex trafficking, child trafficking, human trafficking, but I wasn't aware until they started showing me the numbers. They started telling me the stories, and it became really real. It was like, this is actually the largest form of slavery in our history, period, and it's happening right now in front of our eyes, and very few people are talking about it. So I was like, well, jewelry when you get a piece of jewelry, someone gives you a piece of jewelry, it's actually like adding value and virtue to the person, and you wear it with either pride or you wear it with like
confidence, enjoyment, or it's a part of your style.
Exactly.
Right? Brings it out. Brings out who you are.
Yes.
Defines you a little bit. It's like what you enjoy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so it's something happened. So I was like, okay, I want pieces that are different. I want something that is brought and made with love, something that is accessible, and something that will give back. And so 10% of everything that we sell with that brand, it's going back to organizations, to these two women that I know their work, that I trust. I've met the children through Zoom.
Wow.
So all of these things, so I trust it, and it was like, okay, 10% of everything here is going to go back to them. And also we're also helping young designers. I have a young designer in Colombia that makes the pieces, and another factory. So it's pretty cool. It's like it's a gift that keeps on giving.
I love that.
It's moving forward slowly, because I have so much going on as well. So I'm like, okay, let's figure out balance here. But yeah, the intention is there, and the love is there, and I know that God is going to take that to another level and do what He has to do with it. I just felt like I needed to get it started, and then let Him do what He needs to do.
I agree, and that's how it starts. Something tells you inside. It directs you. Help somebody in this manner, or maybe start this, and you're kind of being, you're part of God's sort of plan to help. And unfortunately, human trafficking is very prevalent. I honestly did not even understand to the extent until now. I have a 16-year-old daughter that I am frightened, because she'll sit on a corner texting, not looking at her surroundings, understanding there are actually girls in various neighborhoods all over the United States, that are just picked up off corners and vans often, and tricked, drugged, whatever it might be. It's actually very, very sad. So I'm so glad that you're taking an interest in human trafficking. I sometimes follow some of the other organizations that do it. I know Tim Tebow also has is very,
and his wife.
Yes.
She went through an experience that was close to maybe.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, she had an experience that really changed her life, and I think that's why she's so passionate about it.
Yes. Very sad and very very disrupting and very difficult. So it's important that that organization also, understanding family law and what goes on with children, and sometimes domestic violence situations a little bit different, but in general the psychological effect on children of abuse, sexual or physical, is so significant, especially in the years of development. That it's important that we're not only, obviously rescuing is the most important thing, but also helping them put the pieces back together again. I love that. I love that. So you'll have to give us the name of the organization. I think.
Yes.
What's the name of?
It's Rosie Orozco. And it's Trata versus. Well, she has a book called Blank Page, and I think it's versus Trata, something like that. She has like a couple, so we could maybe link it to your
if you can,
Instagram.
that'd be great.
And yeah, of course, those two. And the other one is Justice Speaks.
Justice Speaks.
Yes,
okay.
They're more focused in Thailand, in the red district.
In the red, yes, of course, yes.
Yeah.
Oh goodness, yeah.
The red light district.
Red light district.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So wonderful. Love to hear that. That's giving back. That's what we're talking about. That humanity.
Well, I feel like we for me, it's all giving back, and also like I just feel like I have a responsibility. As a woman, and once I'm aware, I feel like I have to do something about it.
I think we all do. We have to. I mean, it's a community that raises our children, and we help each other out. And I think once we have any kind of ability, even if it's just spreading the word, if we can't do anything, we may not be able to physically save somebody, but if we can spread the word or make other children aware, or their parents aware of these things, try to stop it. I know there's hand signs and stuff like that for children to learn that if they've been taken or they're being abused, that they can do, so that you can let another third party, a police officer, someone know. It takes all of us.
It takes all of us. Yeah, and now you said that they designed the signs and all of that. That's something I wouldn't be able to do. So I get to do my part.
Right.
You get to do your part. Everyone gets to do their part in their own way with the gifts that were given to them.
Yes, and I think it's so beautiful. Thank you so much. We're going to get the name and make sure we put it up on the video.
Thank you. Yes. She'll really appreciate it.
Yes, and hopefully we can help. Like, we'll do our best as always.
Yes.
So you're an extremely accomplished woman, clearly very passionate, very understanding of humanity. You've indicated, you still remain a sense of humility and understanding, your role in life, and also just you're blessed by everything you've been given, but at the same time you want to give back. So I want to ask you, who is the person that's most influenced you in your life?
There are so many people
Yeah.
that have influenced my life, and in different seasons.
Yeah.
I've had different seasons in life that have really changed me and transformed me, and certain people have been put in those seasons to influence me in a very positive way. I think my family, my friends, and to be general, right? But
Yes.
and I don't want to get religious, but once I started reading about the actual person of Jesus Christ, how he walked on earth, how he talked to people, it's so different to the kind of religion that we're seeing nowadays, where it's very like, I'll slap you with the Bible, I'll like hit you with the Bible on the head.
Very strict rules is what you mean, like just very, it has to be this way or
yes,
not.
but you can't put God in a box, and you can't put God in a religious box. But the person of Jesus Christ was always willing. Was always, when I read it like a script, right? Because as an actor, I analyzed the script and I analyzed the character. So I started analyzing the character of Jesus Christ and how he walked on earth, and I was like, this is going to be the most important role I'll play in my life. Yeah. When I'm off, when I'm not playing any other role, maybe I should play the role of Jesus Christ, even though I'm so not like him. But I can only strive, I can only try to be like him. So
like his teachings, I guess.
The person of Jesus Christ has brought everyone else in my life. I think because of that, I've attracted the kind of people that I've attracted in my life. And I know some religious people will say that's new agey, the attraction, but it is like, but it's not new agey, but it's if I'm focused on Jesus Christ, then everything else that is added on to me will be around that, the same values, the same core values, the same heart, the same passion, all of that. So yeah, he's just amazing. I encourage people to actually leaving the whole religious thing aside and going to the word and really like do your own research of who Jesus was and why are we still talking about him 2,000 and something years later. Why are we some before Christ and then after Christ? Why is that? There has to be a reason, right? So for me, that really transformed me and changed. I get more passionate about that topic than anything else, because when I hear you say you're a very accomplished woman, honestly, I don't feel like that. I feel like I haven't even arrived. I'm not even halfway there yet. And the reason why is because he showed that he did, that he did this to serve people. I don't think if you sit in an interview with him, I don't think he'll say, I'm accomplished. I did this for love. And it was sacrifice and it was love, and he was always willing to heal people. He was always willing to help people and all of that. So
without any expectation of anything in return, he did it out of his own heart. Is what you're
exactly. Yes.
And so, what church do you go to, or what church? I mean,
I go to different churches, but I don't like focus so much on one place. It depends on where I am, and I always go to like just be in one accord, what we say in one accord, and worship and prayer and all of that. But then I do feel like we are the church. Yeah, we're the church. We walk it out, right? So what I do is I have mentors. I have like a couple of mentors. I have my pastors, have that. So here in Miami, I usually go to VU Church. In LA, I have a church that I go to that it's Radiance, but I also receive from different people online. I receive from Elevation, from Stephen Furtick. I received from Mosaic, Erwin McManus, who is amazing because he's a little bit more for the intellect. So people that are a little bit more like intellect, he's amazing. TD Jakes is also Bishop TD Jakes online. So there's so many resources out there. There's so much out there that help.
And your suggestion is that people experience it for themselves.
Oh,
when they read the word, that's how you should experience it.
100%, because there's so much noise right now. Yeah. There's so much stuff happening, so many opinions, so many things that we should go to God straight and say, hey, can you reveal yourself to me, who you really are? Because I'm a little bit confused about the people that are talking about you, the people that are against you. Like, can you reveal who you really are to me, please? Because I want to get to know you, I want to walk with you, and I want to get to know who Jesus is.
Like that. Very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I love that. I absolutely love that. I was waiting to see what that was going to be. Because it is different depending on its career, personal, different aspects of your life. So I was waiting to hear that. So.
Were you expecting that?
Yes,
You were like, maybe
partially yes.
I just see this in the background.
Yes. So I want to also ask you, so as an actress, assistant director, producer, entrepreneur, and what has been your experience with lawyers during your career?
I've had not so much experience, to be honest. So it's usually my manager will, if I get an offer, so let's say I get an offer for a project and I audition for it, the next step is the production or the studio or the network will make the offer, and it'll go to my agents and it'll go to my manager. And my manager has a lawyer that she works with, an entertainment lawyer.
Okay.
And so they'll talk about it and they'll look at the contract and say, okay, do we need to change something in this contract according to what Cindy wants, what she likes, all of that. And so we usually have her entertainment lawyer, he's the one that will look at the contract and make sure everything's in line. And then if we don't necessarily love the offer, he's the one that will start negotiating the numbers.
Okay.
Alongside with my manager.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you have at least the experience that you have a lawyer that sounds like they're trying to understand what you're looking for as well. It's not just sort of a relationship that you're removed from the process and it's whatever someone thinks.
No.
They're talking to you specifically about your needs, your limitations, your conditions potentially, or having some guideline or outlines, I assume.
Yes. And actually, some people, I know that Al Pacino, he doesn't even have an agent or a manager. And I could be wrong, someone can, whatever, but the last thing I heard was he works with his entertainment lawyer. He's the one that everything's done through him. So that could also be an option, that's how important entertainment lawyers are in our industry, that Al Pacino would just go straight to him. But then again, it's Al Pacino. Yeah, it's Al Pacino. So I need an agent and I need a manager. Al Pacino's like, I'm Al Pacino.
I'm Al Pacino. I'm a brand in of itself. So.
Yes. But he does that. And when you were saying that, I was like, oh yes, Al Pacino. He goes straight to his lawyer. Yeah.
Interesting. But that just goes to show you in general. Just it's different things. Different people need different things, so depending on what their needs are, what their interests are, what their comfort level with, the law might be, or anything else, or with contracts, or with acting, which Al Pacino should be very familiar with.
Yeah, so. And this, if it's not written, it's not going to happen.
Correct.
So right before we get to set, the entertainment lawyer will make sure that everything is written from your trailer to these are things that people don't know. I already know that once I arrive on set, I already know what kind of trailer I'm going to have, because it's already been established, written by the lawyer.
Negotiated.
It's been negotiated. It's already there. And if it's not there, we show the contract and we're like, hey guys, here's a contract. It is written.
You need to have this
here.
You need
to have it, and they'll have it in a heartbeat.
Okay. So these stories I hear that you have that so-and-so, and I don't want to say who, because I don't know if the story is true or not. So but let's say so-and-so, some singer has to have a certain type of Evian water at a room temperature. It can't be more than this.
That's true.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's true. That happens. Yeah. Okay. And with the music industry, it's like that too. Yeah. They'll have their already standard contracts are already like high up there.
Yes.
Some, not everyone. Some people are super simple.
Yeah.
Some people are like, well, it's just whatever, water and something to
eat. I don't care.
Okay. But then there's some people that are like, white flowers and this and that. That's not my case at all. I haven't had those problems. Actually, for my last negotiation, the entertainment lawyer was like, I don't even think I need to negotiate this. It's a great offer. Yeah. Everything's great. We don't. So usually, the studios and the networks, they're very fair. They know, they're like, here's what we have, and usually what they have is great. It's great.
That's good. It sounds like they're also listening to the interest of, and they're watching out for every detail, which is really important for a lawyer, I think.
Yes.
You know, and it's sometimes lawyers get into starting, well, we want this, and it's an ego thing. I want to change this, and I want this sentence to say this, and and unfortunately, they just can kind of get in the way under the circumstances.
That's true, and maybe we get interpreted the wrong way. So
yes.
But no, luckily my manager and her lawyer, they're not into that. They're just into just getting the right things,
getting the right thing,
watching out for me, just as for my future, and that's pretty much it.
Sounds like you got a great team.
They are, yeah. I've been with them for 10 years.
Good, fantastic.
Yes.
I love it, and I'm glad to hear you having at least, it sounds like a good experience. I mean, to the extent that they know what you need and what's best for you, and it seems to be the case because it's been 10 years and you've been able to trust them and they're doing what they need to do. So it's important.
Yeah, you gotta let people do what they know to do. Yeah, I can't control everything because I'm like, well, that's your lane. I don't know about that, so I'm gonna trust you. And then, you know, we just mentioned God, so he has the ultimate control of it all. So
that's true. That's very true. Wow, it's been such an awesome conversation. I got to see where I'm supposed to be here in this next cue call. You're
so great, by the way.
Thank you. I was so nervous. As long as I don't look down, I think I'm okay.
No, I think you're amazing. It's
Thank
awesome.
you.
Yeah,
awesome.
We have an Oprah Winfrey kind of interviewer lawyer.
Thank you so much. I'm glad because I get so nervous, but you've been so helpful because it's very natural. You're just talking to me, so I just kind of. We talk and I like it. I love it, and I learn so many new things. I love learning things about people, and I've known you for a while as well. But I'm learning new things. I love it.
Yeah, me too. I'm learning new things about you too, and admiring more because we don't really get to know each other that until we have these conversations. Like, oh wow, you're an actual badass on the court. But did that sound like on the court, like basketball court?
No. It sounded like, you know, the bad rear end of the court.
Are you a badass on the basketball court, though?
No, I stink at basketball. Okay. I'm good at soccer, most water sports.
But like it's funny because when I first met you, I'm like, she's the sweetest woman on earth, and then I hear that you're just a badass on the court, like on the court. In the courtroom, in the court,
right? Okay. Now I'm understanding.
Okay, I'm gonna go back to sleep because I haven't
slept. No, it's fine.
Honestly, I haven't slept in 2 weeks and a half.
Oh goodness.
Well, like I have.
You don't look like it. You look fantastic. So
thank you. I haven't slept well
in
the past like 2 weeks and something because I was working. I was in LA, then I came back here.
And time changed too.
Time changed, but also like 12 hours on set, and then not sleeping in your place. You know, like that just changes.
That throws you off.
Yeah.
So, well, you look fantastic. You
Forgive
sound
me
fantastic.
for the few things I've said that maybe were
accurate. No, you're fine. You're fine. They're compliments. I love them.
Don't we just love compliments? As women?
Yes.
Is that your love language? Do you know the five love languages?
No.
Oh, so there's a book. There's a great book. I'm sorry I don't have the author's name here, but you can look it up. The 5 love languages.
To know that.
And so we express our love in different ways, and that's why sometimes we feel like we're not loved because maybe we're with a partner that their way of expressing love is through words of affirmation, and the way of you receiving love is through acts of services. So they're like, I love you, you look so beautiful, oh my gosh, you're amazing, and then you're like, well, why aren't you cleaning my car?
Right, why don't you help me?
Why aren't you cooking for me? Why aren't you cleaning the house? So there's that miscommunication of love, even in language. Yes. So learning that, and us women, we just love words of affirmation, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, generally. I know there's some women that are like, don't tell me that. Just go clean my car.
Well, I'd like it to be followed up.
Followed up with action. Too.
Yes, with action.
You speak and then act. Yeah.
Yes, you know. So yes, no, but I agree with you. We definitely love words of affirmation. But I do think actions do speak louder than words. But I do think people sometimes misinterpret, like you're saying. Someone shows love differently. And they may be doing their best and they're speaking from the top of a mountain that I love you. But you are not used to receiving love that way or understanding it that way.
So you don't think that they love you, but they are.
Yes, correct.
Like you're saying, screaming it, and you're just like, what? Like you're speaking to me in another language that I don't understand.
And then the person feels like resented and not taken care of or not appreciated.
Yes.
So it's so important to go down to different levels, to drill down to so many levels. So humans are so complex.
We are so complex, but you know what? With everything that's happened last year and everything that's happening this year and all that we've learned, I think it comes down to this one thing, and it's in the Word of God.
Yeah.
Love. And I think our greatest mission in life is to figure it out. And I think that for our generations to come, we should figure out what love really means and how we get to really walk it out. And I think it's not so much about, because nowadays we're like, oh, I love pizza. Oh my gosh, I love this. Oh my God, I love you. Oh my God, I love you. And it's like, no, what is real love, and how do we get to walk it out, you know?
Correct. And we show a lot of times, and it can be words, can be actions, but we sometimes also, it's omissions. It's actually sometimes by not saying something that might mean, and understanding when someone might need just a helping hand at the time, or just a pat on the back, or something different. But that takes involvement, and that takes depth. Like you said, love. It's depth. It's not just something, oh, that's pretty, I love this, I love that. You have to go beyond that. And I agree with you. I think that's the where value in life is. It's not about I have this car, this house. I mean, these things are nice. I'm not saying anything about them at all. I've been an entrepreneur myself in my life, you know what I mean? But it's, at the end of the day, I think they would be hollow or meaningless unless you have something that you're loving or you're shooting for, that you're doing. Like my kids, I adore my kids. You know, I am told, and I have to remember as a mother and as a woman, to learn to love myself as well. Because to love them, I have to love myself. But we're giving, we're nurturing. So I think it's important, and I'm learning. You learn every day of your life.
Well, what I've learned, and I keep learning, is I can't give something that I don't have.
That's true.
So if I don't have that kind of love for myself, I can't give it away. So in trying to serve others and do for others, I can't really do it. I'm not really doing it because I don't have it within me. I'm not offering it to myself. And like what God says, what Jesus said, love God with all your heart, all your mind, and all your understanding, and love yourself as you love your neighbors. So love your neighbors as you love yourself. So there's that. You can't love outside of that. You know, it's that circle of love.
It is.
Or triangle, I guess.
It is. And ultimately, we're not alone in this world, and there's a reason for that. We're not on the planet alone. We're together with other people and other humans, and we all have interests and loves and needs. And it's important to respect everybody and each other.
It's amazing.
So this has been an amazing conversation. I love it.
Thank
you everyone for joining our conversation. You're enjoying it. So it's been a pleasure spending time with you, and hopefully one day I'm going to be so proud. I'm going to look on that stage when you're on the Oscars, and I'm going to say,
"Oh, amen."
And I know that actress or actor. I was told to call. I was told that actress is
usually actor, but.
Okay. Okay, if you're on the stage, you don't mind me calling you actress or actor.
I don't mind. As long as we get something.
Yes, right. So, but I'll be so proud to say I know her. And Cindy deserves it. She's very
to me, it's like, I mean, that's great, but to me, the people who are out there actually putting in the work, like you said, advocating for others, advocating for our rights. Doing what you do, I mean, for me, those are the true celebrities, the true superheroes, like our everyday working people that are defending our rights. Did I just say that? But like that's the truth. I'm just like, I'm looking at you, and hopefully I get to play a role like you someday, where I get to feel what it's like to be in the courtroom, doing what you do.
Thank you. I'll have to, when we start going back into court more, because a lot of the things are still Zoom, I gotta call you to come in.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Now just don't look at me like in shock when
No. I don't think very few things shock me nowadays.
Okay. Because I'm very sweet. I'm very fair.
I know. But I love it. It's amazing.
But I have a side of me that's not. That's great. Yes.
You have to. Yeah. That's what we call a well-rounded character with an arc. So if we create like a just one tone character, which could happen, it's flat. It falls out flat. So what I like to do with characters is create layers to them, and then all of a sudden it's like, whoa. Yes. Where did that come from? She was like sweet here and this here, and then surprised us with this, and that's what is entertaining, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So
yes.
I love it. I love to see that. Thank you.
I'll let you know once we go. Hopefully, I have a trial coming up, so we'll see. But sometimes they get settled. It's usually good in the best interest of clients to settle things too. But if it doesn't get settled, then hopefully they have it in person because I keep going back and forth. Zoom, not Zoom, and but I'll have to invite you.
Yes,
you have to love
yes.
it.
And I can't wait to be there.
Yes.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for coming today. And
Thank you for having me.
yes, I'm so excited and thrilled you came, and I appreciate it very, very much.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you. So I wanted to let the audience know, we'll see you on the next episode next month. We're going to have immigration attorney here and trailblazer philanthropist Deidre Nero. Hopefully you all can join us. And hopefully this has been a great episode, and you've got a lot of information about Mrs. Luna, Cindy Luna, and a lot of different things about life that we hope was helpful.
Yes.
See you next time, and don't forget to follow us on our social media accounts, and also subscribe to YouTube, our YouTube channel, and to our podcast channels. Thank you again so much, everybody. Take care.